Please welcome Lynn Shaye to our program.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Lynn.
This is so cool.
It's so great to be scary.
And you do a great job. Now, we've talked about you when we're going to talk about all the Farrelly brothers and all that great stuff, which is equally wonderfully terrifying and humorous.
Yes.
The Insidious series, you've done dramatic acting, and you have throughout your career, but this thing, the horror, the first one was directed by James Wan, who's just a genius with this stuff.
Right.
And were you a fan of these kind of movies? Because you're so good at being in them.
I love acting and I love character, and honestly, those are always the driving forces for me. Is a good story and a good character and good people. And when I met James, I love all genres.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think about myself particularly as a genre actress, whether it be comedy or anything else, because I look first, again, at story and character.
Insidious 3, scarier. Is that scarier, or the shriveled breasts in There's Something About Mary?
Let me put it this way. Or maybe I have the breasts hanging on my wall in my office.
You kept them? I love that.
That is great.
I love that.
I can't take horror movies either, but I went and saw Kingpin in the theater, and I went and saw Something About Mary in the theater, and there are scenes certainly in both of those movies that scare the crap out of me.
That are horrifying.
Yeah, and I love how the Farrelly brothers would set up that comedy, because they would throw stuff at you that you just did not anticipate. You thought they're not going to go there.
Really?
And then they used you, and they went there.
They did go there.
You're such an elegant woman, what made them take you and put the landlady and Kingpin and Magda and they have you doing horrific things?
I loved it all.
Yeah.
I fought so hard. They didn't want to see me for Kingpin. It's a really long story. I'll make it brief if I can. But I was in Dumb and Dumber. I had a small role of Mrs. Neugeborn, or as Jeff Daniels affectionately called me, Mrs. Noogie Burger.
You're the one running the dog show.
Yes, in the dog show. And then, and Kingpin was described. The character was described as the angriest, ugliest woman God ever let loose on the planet. And I thought, there I am. But as an actress especially, and I come out of theater, I did theater in New York for years and years, and so my whole mind, to me, that's gold. That's like, so for almost 5 weeks, I worked on that character in my bedroom. Literally, I bought the little outfit, because Pete would call it my clown suit that Mrs. Dumars wears. And I just kept spinning off of what's the most horrible, what could make this woman be so horrible?
Oh, you nailed it.
A skin condition, and she's not getting any, and I don't know what all it was all bad. And I actually finally convinced them to see me 5 days before they were starting shooting. Wow. And they hadn't cast it yet. And I went in as exactly as what you see on camera as Mrs. Dumars, and I was so elated to at least express it.
You make the movie.
Yeah. Let's take a walk down memory lane for just a second.
Okay.
Here we go.
What is it about good sex that makes me have to crap?
God.
I guess it's all that pumping. Pump and dump. You really jarred something loose, Tiger.
There's a scene.
It still cracks you up.
It still cracks me up.
But you know what? There is a, and this is the genius of what they did in your performance, is that it's poignant because there's a later on that you show up and you're ready for another encounter, and you realize you've been had, and your feelings are hurt. The flower in this slimy hair. You're ready.
I really fall in love. It's a perfectly constructed character because you see her. She's introduced. Yeah. She falls in love. She's betrayed, and she seeks revenge.
Yes.
I mean, it's got the 4 elements that make a perfect arc. Yeah. And it was And I remember, even though, but Bobby Farrelly kept saying, he said, "Where'd you come up with that?" But they wrote those lines, and I got to tell you, none of that is improv. It's all written by the Farrelly brothers, and they wanted to cut "You Really Jar Something Loose, Tiger." And I said, "Why?"
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I said, I said, "I swear I can make it work." And Pete says, "No." And finally, I literally convinced him, and I'm so glad I did, because people have me write it on my headshot.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm reading here in IMDb, which is sometimes, incorrect, but it says 179 credits, and you do several projects here. Now, it lists as your very first credit in 1975, Hester Street. And yes, and the character you played was Whore.
By the way, that is a great movie. That's Carol Kane was nominated
for an Academy Award.
It's a beautiful story
about the shtetl life in New York in 1920s. It's
just a masterpiece.
Film. Stephen Keats, who passed away years ago, but it's a beautiful film. And I got to tell a wonderful story about
And you were an excellent whore.
I was okay, but listen, this was great. My parents, it was my first really big, a movie. I was in a movie.
Right.
So my parents came to New York for the premiere. And the scene was cut back. I play a Polish prostitute. It was actually a very nice scene where the sort of tagline is that I could make more money. I could make 25 cents an hour as a prostitute, where in the sweatshop you only earn 5 cents.
Right.
So I was doing it to bring my family over from Poland. Okay, so cut to the end credits where it says Lynn Shaye Whore. My mother literally got up, walked out of the theater, went into the restroom, and threw up.
Oh
and
my
I said,
God.
Mom, it's a prostitute.
Wait,
she said, no, it said whore.
You really jarred something loose, Tiger.
So sometimes I'm not sure if it's a good thing my mother is still not living.
Lynn Shaye, let's hear it for everybody.